Welcome to the Whiskers Sanctuary. I'm glad you're here. Take a moment to settle in. Wherever you are, however you're lying, just allow your body to arrive a little more completely into this moment. Let your shoulders drop if they haven't already. Let your jaw loosen. Let your hands rest open and easy. There's nothing to hold tonight. You know that feeling of being in a quiet room surrounded by books, the particular hush of a place where many worlds are kept, all of them still, all of them waiting, none of them asking anything of you right now. That's where we're going tonight. A closed bookshop, late at night, warm and dim and completely at rest. And somewhere inside it, a cat is moving slowly through the dark. Let yourself settle a little deeper and we'll begin. The bookshop has been closed for hours. The sign on the door was turned long ago. The last customer left carrying something small and carefully chosen, and since then the shop has been returning, slowly and with evident satisfaction, to its natural state, which is to say, complete and utter stillness. The kind of stillness that only gathers in a place where things have been quietly accumulating for a very long time. Books on shelves, books in stacks, books leaning against each other in the particular companionable way of objects that have been together long enough to have grown accustomed to each other's weight. The lights are low, not off. A lamp burns on the desk near the front, and another somewhere deeper in the shop, visible only as a warm smudge of amber through the shelves, but low enough that the space between them has filled with a soft grey dark that is not threatening, but simply quiet. The kind of dark that belongs to the space, that has as much right to be here as the books themselves. The air smells of paper and wood, and something harder to name. The accumulated breath, perhaps, of all the words that have ever been opened in this place, released into the air and never quite departed. It is a smell that asks nothing of the person who encounters it. It simply is, the way old places simply are, settled, unhurried, gently saturated with time. And moving through all of this, softly, without urgency, without destination. The cat. It moves between the shelves the way water moves through a familiar channel, not because it has decided to exactly, but because the space itself seems to guide it, gently, from one warm pool of lamplight to the next. Its paws are quiet on the wooden floor. Its tail moves in a slow, easy arc behind it. It is not looking for anything. It is simply passing through the quiet, the way a cat does when the night is long and the space is known, and there is nowhere to be and no reason to hurry. The cat pauses at the end of an aisle. The shelves here are taller than elsewhere in the shop, and the books on them are older, their spines faded to softer versions of their original colors, their titles barely legible in the low light. The cat looks up at them for a moment with the particular quality of attention it gives to tall things, not reading them, not cataloguing them, simply registering their presence the way one registers the presence of trees or walls or any solid thing that has been standing quietly for a very long time. Then it moves on, past a table stacked with paperbacks, each one face up, each one a small rectangle of color in the dim, past a wooden chair with a cushion that has been sat in so many times it has taken on the comfortable, slightly sunken shape of absence. the shape of everyone who has ever settled into it to read one more page before they really did have to go. Past a low shelf at floor level where the cat pauses again, pressing its nose briefly to the spine of something old and cloth-bound, receiving whatever it finds there. The faint ghost of a smell, the cool, smooth texture of fabric, before withdrawing and continuing on. The floorboards creak once, very softly beneath the cat's weight. A small sound, swallowed almost immediately by the surrounding quiet. The cat does not startle. It simply pauses for a moment, registering the sound the way it registers everything in this space, as something that belongs here, something that is simply the shop speaking in its own language, the language of old wood and settled air, and the particular grammar of a place that has learned to be comfortable with its own sounds. Near the back of the shop, a window looks out onto a narrow street. The lamplight from outside comes in at an angle, laying a long, pale rectangle across the floor that the cat walks through without slowing, its shadow briefly elongated and then absorbed back into the dark beyond the light. Outside, the street is empty. A distant sound, something passing, somewhere far away, fades before it fully arrives, and the silence that follows is deeper than the silence before. The cat moves on, unhurried, undirected, simply here, in this quiet place, passing through the warmth and the dark and the accumulated stillness of 1,000 quiet evenings. The wandering is slowing now, not because anything has changed. The shop is exactly as it was. The lamps burn at the same low, steady warmth. The books stand in their patient rows. But because the cat has moved through enough of the space to have settled into it completely, the way a body settles into a familiar chair, the way water settles into a still pool, the exploring has become something softer, less movement and more presence, less passing through and more simply being here. Near the lamp on the desk, there is a rug. It is old and slightly worn at the center, its pattern faded to gentle suggestions of what it once was. Warm colors, a geometric border, the particular softness that only comes from years of use. The cat approaches it slowly, circles it once in the unhurried way of a creature, taking the full measure of a place before committing to it, and then steps onto it and turns again, more slowly this time, before lowering itself down. The warmth from the lamp reaches it here, not strongly, just a gentle amber pressure against its fur, a reminder that the light is nearby and steady and has no intention of going anywhere. The cat settles its chin onto its paws. Its eyes, which have been half open all this time, lower a little further. Not closed, not yet, but resting now rather than watching, receiving the dim, familiar shapes of the shop, the way one receives a view that has been looked at so many times it no longer requires looking. The books stand in their rows. The lamps burn at their low, steady warmth. The air holds its smell of paper and time. And the cat rests in the middle of all of it, small and warm and completely at ease, breathing slowly in the particular rhythm of a creature that has found, without searching for it, exactly the right place to be. The shop is very quiet now, quieter than quiet. The kind of quiet that has been building all evening, layer by layer, each hour adding its own small weight of stillness, until the silence has become something almost physical, something you could lean into, something that would hold you. The cat's breathing has slowed to almost nothing, each breath so quiet and so even that the rise and fall of its sides is barely visible in the lamplight. Just the faintest suggestion of movement, the gentlest reminder that something living is resting here, that this warm and still and slightly magical place is not empty, but held by the presence of a small sleeping thing that has chosen it and found it good. The lamp on the desk burns on. It has been burning all evening and will burn until morning, patient and reliable, casting its amber light across the desk, across the stacked books, across the sleeping cat on the old rug. The shadows it makes are long and soft and do not move. Everything in the shop is exactly where it was. Everything is exactly as it should be. Outside, the street remains empty. The world beyond the window is doing its quiet nighttime work, cooling, settling, turning slowly toward morning. But none of it reaches the cat. None of it needs to. The shop is a world of its own, complete and self-contained, holding its warmth and its quiet and its sleeping occupant the way a cupped hand holds something small and worth keeping. The books stand in their rows, patient as they have always been, holding their stories still, keeping their words safe in the dark, asking nothing of anyone tonight. They have waited this long. They can wait until morning. For now, the shop belongs to the quiet and the lamplight and the slow breathing of a cat who has wandered through every corner of this space and found it entirely to be home. The cat sleeps. The lamp burns. The books wait, and the night holds everything gently in the particular way of places that have learned, over a long, long time, how to keep things safe, and somewhere nearby, perhaps in your own quiet room, you may feel it too. That same sense of being surrounded by still things, by walls that hold, by a space that asks nothing of you tonight. You don't need to finish this story. You don't need to hold on to anything at all. The shop is quiet, the cat is sleeping, and you are allowed to rest now, completely soft.